So today I'm going to review 3 tops and 1 belt from Landsend. So the deal is, I realized that Landsend makes private school uniforms, and so all these blouses are actually under their school section. And what they do is they make all these blouses for girls, big girls, meaning like sort of the difference between prepubescent and tweeny teenagery, I guess. And then they also make adult sizes. So depending on your body type, like I'm not a super small chested person, but perhaps going with the big girls sizes, the big girls size 16 is a lot like a size small or medium for adults, but it's not built sort of with a bust in mind, so maybe that works better, and maybe other, different things. So all the tops that you see here come in a range of sizes. That's basically what I'm trying to say. They go all the way up into plus sizes. I forgot how far up into plus sizes, but I can tell you part of the reason why this review has been taking so long to get done, I got this order quite a while ago, is just because I've been wearing all the pieces to make sure that they last and that they're machine washable, and that I'm not trying to show you guys stuff that isn't worth it. So I got the camera a little too close. I'm going to try to back up. I'm going to be weird here. This piece is pretty basic. You have your Peter Pan collar, and then you have some buttons running down the middle, and they stop, kind of like a Henley length of buttons. It's more buttons than you would normally see on a polo, but it's like sort of the Henley length. And so, depending on your neck size and whatnot, that allows for a lot of adjustments. The sleeves have a slight amount of pin tucking, or not pin tucking, but just like a hint of almost a ruffling effect. There's like a gathering, and so that creates a very nice effect. Again, this is a very basic piece. This comes in the blue color I'm wearing here, and the pink, and in a white, and it's obviously short sleeve. These short sleeves are more like a men's t-shirt short sleeve than a women's. It's not, okay, this one's a little bit more, this one's a cap sleeve, but the other two are more of a men's. And I really like this one just because it's so basic Lolita in its silhouette and design. And again, in terms of like a DIY tip, you could really easily embellish this collar. You could take some lace, and I would kind of go with smaller lace. Maybe you want to go with big lace, I don't know. But I would sew it on the underside of this collar along here, and then when you fold it down, there would be lace coming out from under it. Coming out from like under it. That's one option. Another option is, I think the buttons here are like a great sort of gateway craft idea, in that you could leave the collar alone and you could just add more decorative buttons. Like if you go to a craft store, especially they have a lot of sales, you go to like the sale clearance section, they're always trying to get rid of buttons because buttons never sell as much as we think, or they don't sell super duper fast out, so there's often a lot left over at the end of the season. You could find like flower buttons, or buttons maybe the same color, or maybe you want to match the pink color or go with a darker pink. One idea that I think would be really pretty, sort of to almost give it a classic vibe, is if you got like dusty rose, because this is a pastel pink. This is very pastel pink. This is like carnation pink, or it's a little brighter than ballet, but it's one of those two. But you could get buttons that are like a darker shade, and then it would give a more sort of classic vibe, maybe. I don't know. And you could also, like, oh, here's an idea for sweet pearls. Just like dots of pearls all over. That would be really cool. And, you know, you could always glue a plastic toy or something onto there, I guess. But so, this is a shirt. Again, I've worn all these shirts a few times, and I've laundered them all a few times. This one startled me at first because I bought the smallest size possible, which was a size small. And they have small, medium, large. They're going that size range with this top. And I was scared at first because when I put it on right out of the package, it was really super loose. And I was scared because I thought like, oh, shoot. They advertise this as a shrink-resistant fabric. It's a cotton, but it's like a shrink-resistant cotton. But it's too big. Interesting thing, it does shrink, but it's not like, oh, they lied, it shrinks. It's more like, it shrinks down to the size it should be. Like when you get this, it's going to fit a bit big on you, and you might panic, but after like one laundering, it goes to the size it should be. So I was really chilled out. It's still a very loose fit. Again, these are like school uniforms, so they're supposed to be really appropriate. You know, they're not supposed to be eye-catching or whatnot. And that leads me to another idea I'll mention later. So, on to the next piece, and again, I kind of did this one a little sweet. I have these plastic purple beads on, and then I have a cupcake in there. You can see my beret has some pieces in it. But I'm kind of more a casual classic kind of a gal, so I didn't have too many cupcake items to put with it, but I kind of felt it was appropriate. So, this is the next piece. This is a sailor top, and it's definitely an authentic kind of a sailor top. I like how this isn't too long, and I also like that it's plain for many reasons. And sorry, I just don't know what's wrong. And the sleeves on this one, like I said about the blue one, are definitely a little bit more like a men's t-shirt sleeve. It's not so much cut like a lot of women's t-shirt sleeves are nowadays. It's not that cap sleeve kind of a thing. It's definitely a t-shirt sleeve. It's short. It's definitely shorter to be more feminine, but it's more of a men's opening there. So one important note to make about this is the previous, the two other tops, this one and the blue one, are a t-shirt material. They're both knit t-shirt materials. They're both cotton knit t-shirts. There might be a little something extra in there, but they're knit cottons. This one is a cotton blend as well, but this one is definitely a shirting material. It's not a t-shirt material, it's a shirt material, it's a button-up shirt material, definitely. And part of the reason why is that in order to keep the collar in the back so crisp, it has to have more shape to it. So I read up some of the reviews on Landsend's website for the shirt, and so I just want to warn you beforehand, especially if you're going to a convention or meetup, you may have to do a tiny bit of ironing touch-up, but this goes in the wash and it goes in the dryer. I wouldn't set it on the highest dryer setting. I just washed it cold with all the other white clothes I have, and then I put it in the dryer and I put it on like the medium, not super hot, more towards the middle, delicate end of the spectrum. And yeah. And if all else fails, another option is if your dryer doesn't have too many settings and it's not very specific, like the older dryers just sort of have an on button attached to them or a timer. What you can do is put this in for like 10 or 15 minutes, especially if it's a warm day, and then take it out while it's still a little damp and just let it hang. Just let it hang up, and it will dry in the air. And also by doing that, you'll actually get out most of the wrinkles. So, sorry if I'm still burpy. But One super also important mention is that it has a loop here. And this loop is to put a scarf or a tie, because this is designed to be a real legit private school uniform top. So, and this is still a woman's size. The difference between the knits and this one also is that the knits only come in small, medium, large, extra large, that formatted sizing. This one comes in numbers. And Landsend, it's important to note, goes larger rather than smaller in terms of their size range. So for all Lolitas out there that are having a hard time finding a shirt in their size range that will go with Lolita, go to Landsend, because these guys have these kinds of styles and they go into the plus sizes very easily without batting an eye or anything. And if it's sized anything like the smaller ones, I would say that it'll be generous. So quickly, because we basically covered the whole item. So in terms of DIY styling tips, this loop, if you have accessories that you think you will use with it, I say leave it on. You know, if you absolutely are never going to use this loop, take it off. But you know, some people are more into sort of a sailor scout or a school uniform type Lolita look, or cosplay. You know, this could also be cosplay. And so, you know, this is definitely a handy dandy little authentic detail. But to people who might not be so into it, I wouldn't say it's hard to sew in and under. This is also permanently on sale. They may be discontinuing this item soon. So right now it's $10 instead of like the usual 20 something. So this might be worth buying now, even if you're not sure about the loop, because it's a $10 Lolita blouse. And it's a good quality one. Sorry. So, in terms of DIY ideas, it's totally blank. So if you wanted to put the little satin striping, the ribbon detail, you can totally do that. And you can put whatever color you want, because this is a blank slate. Again, all the work has been done for you, all the basic construction, and this is a canvas that you can paint on, more or less. Whatever kind of deco ideas or details or whatnot, this thing is ready to go. Now, I don't know if it will take to tea staining, but if you're somebody who wants more antique color, not this crisp white, maybe look into it. I'm not sure though, as far as how it will take. I know nothing about dye work. Maybe that's a thing though. Could you imagine, like, for the OTT suites, like, if they did some kind of a ombre pastel dye with this? Oh, that would be cool. So, that's this top. Totally buttoned up and down. And again, buttons are an incredibly easy DIY option to make this more Lolita-esque or more towards whatever style you're looking for, because they're easy. They're already there. The buttonholes are already there. All you need to do is take this to a craft store, make sure the buttons you replace the old buttons with, they're the same size, and everything's fine. You just, you know, cut off the buttons, and the place where the old buttons used to be, you just sew over that spot. Ready to go. Hi, so thank you for sticking in this long. Before I review the final blouse, the blouse set I was wearing at the beginning, the blue one, I just want to quickly show you the belt I also got. The reason why I really want to show off this belt, again, it's not absolutely Lolita in nature, but it is this excellent lemon yellow, and it is a very, very lemon yellow. I wasn't quite prepared for how lemon yellow this is, and so it's very nice, and it's very, very pastel. It's a bright pastel, but it's the kind of bright where if you were putting a bunch of neutrals together, or if you had sort of a monochromatic pastel-y look going on, and then you threw this on, it would really make the whole thing pop. And what I love is that you buy the size that's right for you, obviously, but it's completely perforated all the way around, so really the belt can rest anywhere you want it to be. So size it to your hip, and then you can wear it at the waist, you can wear it at the hip, you can wear it anywhere because there's no limit in terms of holes. So I'm putting that aside. Also want to mention it's full grain leather, which is really nice because over time it's going to wear very, very well. And the original price is $28. It's on sale right now, but I don't know for how much. Just check out the links below and you can see what the current price is. So finally, one more note. This blouse. I'll try to stand and show you a little more. So, yeah, it's a very modest fitting blouse. This one was the smallest I could get in women's. It's a size 4. And I have to say it's a very generous size 4 because my top is somewhere between a 2 and a 4. And this is definitely leaning for the 4 range. Like most other Landsend things, whenever you buy sort of a size in Landsend, whatever measurements could be considered like a generous version of that size, that's how they size things. Everything is generous. So, very nice. But I would really advise this as a top for a JSK. Or it could be a jacket or a bolero or something. And the only reason why is the camera's probably not picking it up, but I have very pale skin and it's kind of showing through. Especially the bra. The outline of the bra is kind of showing through. And so I don't think this is really a flaw. I think they kind of assume you're supposed to be wearing something over this. So I just want to make it clear that this is not this woven cotton knit. I mean, it's not a knit. This woven cotton is not opaque, and I really advise that either you wear an undershirt or you wear this with something kind of over your boobs area. It could be jewelry, I don't know. But, to sort of keep the modesty thing. So, moving on to the last shirt. The collar lies pretty flat on the body, but sometimes when you hang it up on a hanger, it kind of bunches in a funny way just because it's a very soft, light knit. So it kind of wants to conform to whatever you put it against. So anyways, this one is very similar to the pink one. Difference is no gathering at the sleeves, it's just a regular sleeve. And you know what? This is kind of more of a cap sleeve actually, but it's still not quite. It's still not quite. It's definitely a t-shirt sleeve. The big difference between this one is a giant shadow. I'm just trying to get the giant shadow out. The major difference between this one and the pink one is that this one has buttons all the way down. So, it's basically the same. It comes in white and blue. The other one obviously comes in white, blue, and pink. This one only comes in white and blue. Quickly want to mention, quickly want to mention that this is probably the most form-fitting one of the 3. I don't know why, but there's something about the way this one was cut that it's just a little bit more form-fitting than the other ones. So if you are concerned about figure and stuff like that, especially if you want to wear with a skirt, this one's a bit more form-fitting, so it's going to hug you just a tiny bit more. It's still pretty generous and pretty relaxed and casual, and in how there's space between you and the garment, but I would say this one's a tiny, itty-bittiest little bit more shapely. So, you might be wondering, mentioned earlier, something about shapeliness. Idea, DIY idea. I think it could only work on this top. Consider for a moment princess seams. Now I know that's like advanced level DIY, that's advanced level craftiness, taking a pre-made shirt and applying princess seaming lines onto it. But I would I just want to put it out there. There might be somebody, and the way you would do it is you'd have to have a dress form that's either your precise proportions or you need to wear it while somebody else pins it. And then because it's open front, it's really easy to take off. You don't have to pull it over your head and have needles in your face. You don't have to worry about that. But, so I'm thinking that's an idea. Of course, so you can replace the buttons. Again, to get a more classic look, if you got navy or matte gray buttons, that would be very sort of classic. And then again, if you wanted to go completely opposite, sort of OTT suede or something, of course, go for the crazy kid novelty buttons. Go for buttons with a lot of pearlized or metallic effects to them, that kind of stuff. Also, one more note: this collar is less defined than the pink one. It's a tiny bit more modest proportionately to the rest of the top. For some reason, for some people that might be more attractive, for some people that might be less attractive. For me, the reason why I bought all three of these tops was I wanted variety. I want to make sure that I have a lot of really different Lolita tops, so I don't have to worry about matching each top to each bottom perfectly. But if I have a range, it'll work. So that's this one. So that's basically the end of the review at this point.